Oh, my fantastic students, welcome in to another week. I know last time we talked about problem solving, so hopefully you all solved some problems since last week. And this week we're going to be talking about the decision architect, basically creating your life how you want it to be. Nope. And there's something a little bit different today. I know you probably all missed me since last time, but today we have a special guest who's going to be teaching and facilitating the class. And that is Sarah. I don't know. Actually, I'm sorry. I didn't ask how to pronounce your last name. Is it Procopio?
That's okay, Sarah Procopio.
Procopio.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today. And this is Sarah's first time teaching the class. Please be nice to her. But we went over some of the stuff we do already. And the rest, again, is just kind of going through how to create a structure in your life that's going to work for you to get towards your goals. And Sarah, share a little bit about that as we do usually go through our workbook questions, probably a breakout room too. I may hop in. Sarah, feel free to reach out if you want any support on anything. But besides that, if you want to say hello, maybe introduce yourself first, and then we can hop into the poll if you'd like.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you for the introduction. So, Sarah Procopio here, as he mentioned, I'm the CEO of a marketing agency. So, as it so happens, we actually specialize in decision architecture and behavioral economics and getting consumers to make choices that benefit businesses. So, this is an area of expertise of ours, and we're super excited to walk through it with you. I think some key benefits are yes, absolutely making better decisions in your life. That's super helpful. But I also think an interesting one is sort of staving off procrastination, figuring out how to architect your life in a way that helps you make good choices, good habits. And then my personal favorite is leveraging decision architecture for persuasion. So, getting people to have a higher perceived likability for you. So getting people to like you more, getting more attractive people to date you, getting your parents to make decisions that you want them to make. All of these things can be handled within this decision architecture frame, and we could walk you through that in some really practical examples. I use them in my personal life. Not always, but if the stakes are high or I really want something, I will pull out all the stops and use some of these, and I'll give you examples of those.
Awesome. And if you want to, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and pop up in the poll. As you all know, we usually do a poll at the beginning of the week, and just kind of see what you all think about this. One other thing I often do, Sarah, is I'm going to ask everyone in the class is if you all can drop in the chat. We're talking about this kind of creating the life that you want and pushing yourself in the right direction, this decision making. Um, how many of you, how would you rate your knowledge of this or your progress towards this on a scale of like 1 to 10? One being not very much, 10 being a lot. How much do you feel like you do this? Like surround yourself with the right people and kind of create the life the way you want to go, getting towards your goals. Um, Go ahead and drop that in the chat. You can answer this poll, and Sarah will go ahead and ask you what you answered for these in a little bit after you've had a chance to complete the poll. Looks like, and Sarah, if you can see, this is about like 10 out of 23 so far that have answered.
Okay.
So once that number gets up a little bit, go ahead and ask everybody.
Okay, that sounds good. And then while we're waiting for answers to flow in, I think that something that might be beneficial to you is just understanding what behavioral economics is or decision architecture. So the definition of that is it's the science behind why people make decisions. So it's not, we think we're rational decision makers, but our brain actually uses mental shortcuts so that it's not as exhausting to make decisions. We're very emotional when we make decisions, and we use these shortcuts that we'll walk you through. So that, in a nutshell, is behavioral economics. Okay, so let's talk about some of the answers that you provided us with. We'd love to hear from some folks in the group. Do I call on the specific students, or how does that work?
Yes, you can call on whoever you'd like. I think there's a way to share. You might have to press share poll results or something like that so everyone can see what popped up on there. Perfect. So, oh, there we go. Yeah, go ahead and select whoever you'd like to see what they answered on this first question.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not sure where to do that.
Oh, can you only see the poll and not the people?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that happens sometimes too.
Okay.
Um, Sheila, why don't you go ahead and select somebody?
All right, I'll go ahead and choose Valerie.
Me or
Yeah, Valerie Garcia. Garcia, yeah.
okay, I answered the first question, right?
Yes, the
So
first
I
one.
had I had put that when I choose to eat at a restaurant, my personal preferences influence me the most because I know that I'm really picky when it comes to eating. And like when we go to restaurants, like I know the food won't taste the same as what my mom makes, so I get scared to try like new things.
Yeah, that's interesting. And sometimes we don't even know why we make the decisions. We think we know, but we're not exactly sure. And that's what we really need to be concerned about when we're making these food decisions. How about somebody else? I think we have somebody else up. Is that right? Is that Diana?
If no one's volunteering, you can have the last student call on someone new or just, yeah, select a new person. I'm not sure how that popped up.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Valerie, can you select somebody?
Caitlin?
For question number two,
Yeah, that would be good.
okay, I don't think it affects me much because my decisions online, I know a lot of people are influenced by the different things they see online, but I've been educated to not allow that to affect the right choices I should be making.
Oh, that's good. Do you have any tips for us on how you make
Mm.
sure to make good choices even though you're trying to be influenced?
Um, you just really need to remember like the good and bad and like your conscience and your morals. You just need to differentiate good and bad. Well, what I just said, good and bad.
Yeah, that's a good tip. So you're really thinking through everything before you click the buy button. Okay, can you call on another person?
Yeah, I'll call on. I can't see. I'll do Genesis.
Did you see she's eating right now, Caitlin?
I'm
I'm
sorry,
just,
I didn't
I'm just
see.
joking.
I'm
I'm just
sorry.
joking. I'm just playing. No, I think she's finishing up. Go ahead, Genesis.
Is this for the third question?
Yeah, for the third one.
I put um small rewards for progress because that will like keep me engaged and attached to what I'm doing and I won't like give up easily because I know that an award is like awaiting for me at the end.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. That's really good. Okay, let's take one more and then we'll move on. Do you want to call in somebody, Genesis?
Um, Jenny?
Question four, right? I think.
I think it was number three.
For three.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. For me, I chose if you want like a new to start a new habit. What would the most for me? It would be small rewards for progress because I feel like if you have something like a small goal you want to accomplish and like have like say like a little treat when you finish a specific amount of like work, that could help you enjoy the rest of the progress you've been doing.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Okay, so let's jump into the learning objectives. The main things that we're here to teach you are what behavioral economics or decision architecture is, how it could benefit your life, and then the different ways that you can use it, and examples to benefit you, from habits and all of the things we mentioned to decision making and persuasion. So we'll really focus on that and then how to apply those concepts in your real life. One thing to keep in mind as we go through this is oftentimes folks will take the same energy to make two totally different decisions. And so let's just say it might take you the same mental energy to pick out the clothes you're going to wear or the meal that you're going to decide on as it would to make a really big decision like the college you're going to go to or the car you're going to buy. And so that's why our brain takes shortcuts so that we minimize the effort. And so we're always trying to figure out, how do I make the fastest and best decision with what I need, with the choice that I need to make. And that's why these shortcuts have come to be. So understanding how our brain works and why we make these shortcuts and the different shortcuts that we make are really important. So that's called behavioral heuristics or decision heuristics. It's a really nerdy term, but basically it just means the shortcuts that you make when you make decisions. So just to give you an example to help that come to life a little bit, one decision shortcut that you might make is, let's just say that there are like different pies lined up in a window and you're trying to decide what pie that you want. If you are using the decoy theory, maybe as a business, I would make the most expensive pie look the best. It has good lighting. Maybe I put some sparkles on it, something like that. I put it in a really expensive dish and I raise it up. And so it almost looks like it has like this halo effect and it's shiny and it's bright. And then the other two pies that are less expensive don't look as good. They don't have the lighting. They're not in the expensive dish. So everybody wants to pick the most expensive pie in the window. So I'm using those other two options of pies as decoys to get everybody to focus on the one that I really want, which is the expensive one. So that would be an example of a decision shortcut, which is called the decoy method. So the way you could use this in your real life is, let's just say, for example, if you are dating and you want to make sure that a guy that you're going out with in a group setting finds you the most attractive, maybe you don't pick your prettiest friends to take with you. Maybe you pick the ones that aren't as cute, or you tell a couple of them to not wear makeup that day and do their hair, or dress in khaki something. And so then you look like the bright and shiny pie in the window as opposed to your friends. So those are the learning objectives. Let's move on to the next slide. Any questions about that or how that works, the mental shortcuts? Okay, so now we're going to go into this exercise, the choose from the menu exercise. I think the YC staff will kind of tee this up, and I don't want to share too much information because I want you to experience this organically, and then we could talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, I think the only thing is you're supposed to choose one item from the menu that you're shown. So pick something good. All right, YC staff, you can go ahead and pop open the menu thing, please.
Hi, Jay. We're putting them in the breakout rooms now.
Awesome. Yeah, I see it popping in there. Thank you.
Um, just gonna go ahead and ask, which breakout room should I be in?
You can go to room 2, Sheila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can they see the menus right now? Chris, can they see the menus right now?
Yep. Can you see it now, Jay?
I'm not in the breakout group. I'm here with you, but oh, okay, yeah, I do see the menus. They're looking at two different menus though.
One menu per breakout room. So that's
Okay, so
where
they're
they.
not seeing. Okay, they're not seeing what we're seeing. Okay,
Mhm.
and then there's poll results that you're going to share when they get back.
So what will happen is that the assigned VA in each room will count how many who ordered salad and burgers. Yeah.
Okay, okay, so this will end after they collect the information.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Genesis is just coming in, by the way. I don't know if you want to assign her.
Yep. I'm putting her in a breakout room now.
All right. And Kimberly Viegas.
Yeah, I think she's having some issues. I already assigned her to a room. She should have a notification on her end.
Cool, thank you. And Sarah, I'll try not to interrupt and just let you, go through it. I think this we hadn't really practiced, so I did want to make sure, it's as easy as possible for you. But
Jay, I love the interruptions and the support. You can
okay, well,
maximize maximize that. I'm so into it, and I'm so happy that you're here and I feel really supported because I don't want to miss anything. You know?
okay, cool. Now the
Yeah.
main thing is just, get him to talk and share about things and, try to get through the entire presentation. We usually just do a quick breakout room thing, maybe like 5 minutes, and then come back and talk about. I'll usually ask like the alumni and student leaders who are leading the groups, like, "Oh, what'd you hear?" Ask another one, "Did you hear something similar?" Just things like that to kind of wrap up. So if you do want to do that, I think it's nice for the students because they all get a chance to chat. But you'll
Maybe
probably want to leave.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe if you can help prompt. I hear it's sometimes hard to get the group to participate. So if you have any tricks on how to get them to chime in, that would be amazing.
Oh, they're usually pretty good if you call on them. Okay, I think
Okay.
people are coming back right now, so I'll let you take it.
Okay. Okay, good. So it looks like everybody's filtering back from choosing the different options on the menu. This is an example of the framing effect. So all of the content of the menu is the same on each option. And then, but they're framed differently. The different menu options, as you could tell, are spotlighted salad versus hamburgers. And then the smaller components are at the bottom. The alternative menu is at the bottom. So this is really about how do you frame the exact same information in a different way to get people to make the choices that you want them to make. So if you guys want to chime in and just share what you chose and what and why, that would be really helpful. Maybe we start. I don't know. Who should we start with, Jay?
How about Dulce Moreno?
Sorry, this recognize, but I had chosen the Hawaiian burger because if you think about it, if you put pineapple on pizza, you can try it on the burger, give it a try. If it's good, then it's good. If it's not, well, you give it to somebody else and you learn.
One thing we may have to ask too, so Dulce, were you in the menu that had the pictures of burgers or pictures of salads at the top?
I was in the burger then.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay,
I
so
thought they were saying side by side.
no, yeah, I know. So basically, and it's a little bit different than what we saw outside the room, but each group was shown a different one that had either the burgers at the top or the salads at the top with the pictures. So Sheila's actually dropping in the chat right now with the results of what was ordered. So just so you all know, yeah, some of you saw a burger with or a menu with burger pictures at the top and salads in text at the bottom, and then salads at the top and burgers at the bottom on the other menu. So yeah, Sarah, if you want to read the results and then you can ask some people if that was all true for them
Yeah, yeah, that
in the
would be
chat.
great. Let's see. I'm trying to view the results. I don't see where to go to do that. Viewing.
The chat. Yeah, just for room one, it's 10 salad and then one burger, and that's for like a salad menu for 13 burgers on room two. They all ordered burgers, and that's a burger menu. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, huh? So that's kind of the results we would expect because the visuals are spotlighted on the salad menu. I'm kind of surprised one person ordered a burger. That must be the one that was really focused on morals and making good decisions. And then on the burger side, that I mean that all makes sense. So it's really about framing. Even though the menu options were the same on both, technically the ones that had the visuals were the ones that people went for. So an example of if you were marketing, how you could use this is you would want the most expensive items to have the visuals and the ones that you would make the least amount of money on to have to be at the bottom. So then it would guide the process forward. Um, should we call on somebody else to get their take on why they chose the different options? Maybe Ashley?
Um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, just if you could tell us the menu that you had, what you selected, and then why you didn't select the ones with the pictures, if that's the way it went.
I selected the Hawaiian burger. I selected it because I don't know, it just sounded interesting and I wanted to try something different. And I didn't try the other items because I don't know, they just don't look descriptive enough.
And did you notice that the salad items were at the bottom and you just didn't pick them?
No, honestly, I didn't notice them until you mentioned them.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. How about Elias? Or maybe Alexa?
Could you be able to repeat the question, please?
Yeah, just tell us what menu option you had and then what menu item you chose from that and why.
The menu option that I had were what was the salads, and I chose the chicken salad because um I know what it I know what it tastes like, and I'm already like used to eating that. Um, I didn't choose the other ones because I saw that their pricing was like a little bit higher than the chicken salad. And I did notice at the bottom the burger options, but I still wanted to choose the salad.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's a really good quote that says, if you want to make the world a better place, make the good options easy and the bad options hard. So essentially, anytime you want anybody to do anything, and I run our household like this as well as my business, we make those options super easy for people to do. So that's one quick tip for you. An example would be let's just say you want your parents to say yes so that you can go over a friend's house. You can leave them a note that says, hey, I'm going to go over my friend's house until 9 p.m. If you don't want me to do this, call me. Otherwise, that's where I'll be. They have to opt out, right? They have to opt out. They have to make an additional effort if they don't want you to be there. Maybe the parent gets distracted. Maybe they just decide it's easier to not text you. But what happens is you just made the option that you want them to select easy. So does anybody have any ideas on ways they could apply this to their life? Wendy?
Would you be able to repeat the question?
Yeah. Do you have any ideas on how you could apply this to your life? So how could you um, use the idea of making something easy for somebody? Uh, mm, like, how could you use that? So, for example, if you want to have somebody make a decision that's in your favor, then you make that easy for them to say yes. You make that option easy. And the example that I used is if you want your parents to say yes to you being able to go to your friend's house until 9 p.m., you leave them a note. You let them know that that's where you'll be until 9 p.m. And if they don't want you to be there, to call or text you. So it's harder to call or text until you know than it is just to let it ride and let you stay at your friends until 9. So do you have an example of how you could apply that to your own life? Maybe something similar but different?
I think similar to that example would be maybe both parents talking to each other and like coming to an agreement.
Yeah, yeah. So, like maybe, for example, if you wanted them to come to an agreement about something, you can make the decision for them. Like, here's how it's going to go. You guys are going to buy me a car. If you don't want to buy me a car, then I don't know. I don't know. Something hard. They'd have to do something hard. But you guys get the idea. Any other questions about that one?
I'll throw something out there.
Yeah.
I know one thing for me, is like I'm not always great about this, but try to eat a little bit healthier. So just having less junk food around, or like when I drink less, like I don't keep beer in the fridge where it's like easy to see. I just grab one. And actually, I just right now moved my jump rope from my back patio to near my front door because if I see it, I'm more likely to do it. And I think I told you all, I got this like whiteboard and I put it by my front door so I can see it. And it's just like the stuff that's more like physically in front of me, I tend to do more. So like maybe if you need to study, if like you always put your homework, like take it out of your backpack and put it on your desk or on the kitchen table or somewhere that you would normally use or on your bed. You're gonna hop on your bed. So it's like, oh, dang, I gotta do this. Those are maybe just some examples of some of these nudges where it makes it easier to succeed because you're kind of putting it front and center, for example. And, Sarah was sharing an example to get someone else to make it easy for them, by kind of nudging them in the right direction. So I just wanted to share, like, it's I guess could be for yourself to nudge yourself in the right direction, or nudging someone else in the right direction to kind of make the decision that you want them to make too.
That's such a great example. And so I'll do that in my refrigerator as well. Like all the fruits and all the vegetables are within sight so that I am reminded to eat them as opposed to just shoving them into the lower drawer. So that's one. Or then when I'm getting back into working out, I'll lay all my clothes out the night before, my shoes. So I just roll out of bed and that's there for me. And that's one less hurdle to getting to the gym. Yeah, thank you, Jay. Yeah, it's not all about persuading others. You got to get yourself to make the good decisions too. Okay, so I think we can move on to the next slide unless anybody has anything else to add. Okay, good. So this is kind of what Jay just touched on with the making good decisions or the making healthy choices. So the environment shapes our choices. One example of that is you'll notice, like if you go to, let's just say CVS, you'll have to go all the way through the entire store to pick up your prescription. And the goal of that is to get folks to buy things along the way, maybe a lipstick, maybe, some candy, something like that, rather than just going and getting their prescription and leaving. So it increases the amount of things they buy when they go through. So just being aware of that so that you know that you just have to have a single-minded focus on your budget and the items that you choose, and that the environment is shaping your decisions. And then you can also shape your environment, like we talked about, laying out the clothes before the gym, or sometimes if I'm going to read or if I'm going to journal, I'll lay that book right by my bed at night so that I have a visual cue to make sure that I get in the habit of journaling or reading at night, that sort of thing. So does anybody have any examples of maybe ideas that they can come up with to shape their environment in order to make good decisions, or things that you've done before, maybe not realize that was called decision architecture? Anybody want to volunteer?
Jose raised his hand.
Okay, great.
Yes. Sorry. So my example is like when I don't feel like doing my homework, I at least like do one question or at least write down the question so like I can like feel like I need to do it like in a couple hours. So like I at least started the homework, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great. Yeah, that's exactly it right there. For sure. Then there's another piece that's awareness creates control. So just knowing that you may be in a situation where you're going to be influenced, and so you need to navigate around it and make a really good decision for yourself. It could be going into the grocery store knowing that you have to get milk, which is intentionally situated all at the back, and that you make a decision in advance not to pick up the Cocoa Puffs along the way, to you just have that single-minded focus on just getting the milk. So a lot of these things are essentially designed for you to spend more money. That's what, as a consumer, everybody's trying to get you to do, is spend more money, make the most profitable decision for the business. And so that's something to always keep in the back of your mind, is what does this business want from me? And how do I navigate around it to really make the best decision for me? Maybe it's spending less money. Maybe it's, getting a product that is better for you, whether that's fruits and vegetables or something like that. But always making the best choice for you. Another example would be as you kind of like go and you start consuming more things. Oftentimes there will be like a monthly subscription to something. And so that's like, that's the whole make it easy thing, where unless you opt out later, you're on the hook for $10 a month, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you subscribe to a few of those things, it really adds up. So being really aware of the whole needing to opt out later monthly subscription thing is really important as a consumer to manage your finances correctly. Has anybody gotten caught up in the monthly subscription thing and then had to rein it in, or come up against anything like that? Mariana, do you want to chime in?
Can you rephrase the question because I didn't really understand?
Yeah. So sometimes one way that businesses get us to spend more money is that they will have us opt in for certain services and then just automatically charge us every month. So that's something that we need to be aware of. Have you experienced anything like that you've had to steer away from?
I haven't really experienced anything like that, but I think a good example is like maybe like when you're trying to watch a show and then you can only find it on a certain website. So you pay for like a streaming service and then you like forget to cancel it, and then it's just like when you forget to cancel it, you're getting charged for it like every month and stuff, and then you forget, which is like taking away from your money.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's exactly it. I think I have a few of those going right now. So as you can see here, it says design works both ways. So you can design your environment so that you automatically shape your habits. So they're good things, like only filling your refrigerator up with fruits and vegetables and not having junk food in the pantry, or you can create situations that are a challenge. So, if you accidentally go by the pizza shop every day and maybe grab a slice of pizza and you're trying to eat healthier, taking a different route home would be a good way to not have you trigger that bad decision that you're trying to break. So thinking a little bit more through how to architect the environment. It's basically like when I went to one of the youth champions workshops, one of the things that kept coming up is like willpower, procrastination. And then I think a lot of times people beat themselves up about that, and they're frustrated that they made a decision and they wish they didn't make it, or they wish they would have chosen to study, but they didn't. And so this whole idea is like focus a little bit less on beating yourself up because you didn't have the willpower or because you procrastinated, and focus a little bit more on problem solving the situation so that you have your environment queued up so that you make these better decisions, like putting the book on your nightstand to read, that sort of thing. Okay, next slide. And so YC staff, it sounds like we're going to go into an online workbook question.
Yep. Yes, that's correct, Sarah.
Okay, good. And so do you want to, how does that work? Do you normally prompt them or give them the detail, or do they just go through that?
Yeah, they can basically, or you can basically read the question and then we'll give them a minute to answer their workbook with this question and play some music while the timer is running.
Okay, okay, got it. So I go in here and then I read the workbook question.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, so think about a recent decision you made, big or small, where your choice might have been influenced by the options that were presented. For example, how something looked or sounded or was framed. What outside factors may have shaped your choice, and how might you design your environment differently next time to make a decision that you actually want to make?
And then we can proceed on calling on students as well, Sarah, to share their answers for this question.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'd love to hear the answers, and then and then if you could also share why you made that choice, and then how you can use this decision architecture thing to make a different choice next time. That would be great. So let's start with Jose. Jose, do you want to answer the question?
Sure. Um, so I feel like a case might have been like when I needed to do like an assignment and like it required like certain like parts and in order for me to keep myself motivated to do the question like the assignment, I would just like break it into parts and do it over time.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it's like you basically make it easy for yourself at the beginning so that it doesn't feel all overwhelming like you have to do the 15 parts all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great example. How about Dana? Okay, maybe Max?
All right, so um, one recent decision that I made was it was at a restaurant. I went to BJ. It was my first time, and one of my friends had influenced me to get a pizza because they had told me that it was like good, like one of the best. And honestly, it looked good on the pictures on the menu. And when I tasted it, I feel like it honestly wasn't really worth it. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one because when they make it look good on the menu, it's really hard to say no. And what do you wish you would have gotten?
the burger looked nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And so I guess now you know next time just to pick what your gut tells you the first time around, huh?
yeah.
And then let's do one more. How about Allison?
For the workbook, I put that I bought new shoes online because it said 50% off, so I didn't really need it, but it was tempting.
And so you bought the shoes anyway, even though you didn't really need them?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it seemed like a good deal.
Right.
And so what will you do next time if you want to avoid making that purchase?
Maybe wait a day and like really reflect on it if I really need it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I do. I kind of like put it in the shopping cart and then I decide if, the next day if I'm going to go back or not. And it doesn't seem as important the next day, right?
Yeah.
So just waiting and letting yourself cool off. Okay, good. Let's move on to the next slide. So we talked about default options. That's the whole making it easy for people thing. So making it easy for yourself, making it easy for others to make the decisions that you want to make, you want them to make, simplifying the choices. So this is sometimes people get decision fatigue if there's like 10 different items to pick from. We've all been overwhelmed when we go into a store and we see all of these different options. And sometimes we walk out and we don't end up picking anything. And so, if you give people 2 or 3 choices, or you give yourself 2 or 3 choices, and they're all healthy choices or all positive choices, like, I could do these 3 pieces of homework, and you give yourself a choice between the 3, but either way, you have to do the homework or you have to study. That would be an example of simplifying choices. The framing effect, you guys experienced that firsthand with the menu. And then a few things that I want to talk to you about that are different, different ideas of this. One is anchoring. So you can anchor with price. So, for example, if you're breaking bad news to somebody and you're like, okay, well, I spent $100 from your wallet and I'm really sorry about that. And you pause for a minute and then you give them an opportunity to react. And then you say, just kidding, I only spent 10. They would normally be upset about you spending $10, but it just went from 100 to $10. And so then they're less upset. So that's an example of anchoring. You anchored high on the 100 and then you tell them it's only 10. And so the reaction is different. Same with pricing. If you're going to give somebody a service and you tell them the pricing, you could say, normally I charge, let's just say, $50 for this. But I'll do it for you for $10. And then it seems like in their minds, they're getting a much higher value than just the $10. It's a $10 item that they're paying, but they're paying, or it's a $50 item that they're getting, but they're getting it for only $10. So that's an example of anchoring. Have you guys ever experienced that when you're out and about and, have you experienced the anchoring effect, Brianna? Or Alexa?
What was the question?
Yeah. Have you ever experienced the anchoring effect? Like, has somebody ever made it seem like you're going to get bad news, but then they follow up with really it's not that bad, or they tell you a price that's high and then it turns out it's going to be lower?
I've had a similar experience, but it didn't have anything to do with like money.
That's okay. Anything would be fine.
This one time, I think like my sophomore year, um, my math teacher was like calling everyone's attention in class and like telling us that like most of the class like didn't do good on this one test, and like everyone was freaking out thinking that their grades were gonna drop. But then she had like said that like we were able to come retake it like on the days that she had tutoring, and like as long as you like reread the study guide, that you should have been able to like get your grade up. And I think that like that eased everyone's like worries and like thoughts about that.
That's such a great example because it's like basically if she would have just told you, oh, everybody has the opportunity to retake the test, probably nobody would have been excited about it and it would have seemed like a hassle. But she started with, you guys, a lot of people got bad grades. And so then people felt like it was a gift to be able to retake the test. That's a great example. Really great example. So another example would be the reciprocity principle. So if you notice, like when you go to the mall, for example, and people are passing out free samples or like lotion or offering you a free facial or something like that, I think we've all learned free is not really free. And so what happens is you feel when somebody gives you a free sample or something like that, you feel like you want to give them something in return, and it primes you for buying. So just be really careful when you go places. If they're offering something for free, you're going to feel compelled to want to give something in return. And that's using that reciprocity principle. And then one last example that I'll give you is social proof. So I think we all kind of want to know that what we want or what we want to buy or the people we want to hang out with are in demand and that we're making a good decision. And so I'll give you an example of this friend that I have. She always goes to, like, let's just say before she goes to a date, she'll go to the coffee shop and she'll start kind of like flirting and building rapport with all of the men in the coffee shop and all the staff that works there about a half an hour before her date arrives. And so by the time the date rolls in, everybody's talking to her. She seems like a celebrity at this coffee shop. She seems really in demand, and it elevates her in his mind when he arrives to the date. So she has gathered all of this social proof by arriving a half an hour early. And maybe he would have perceived her as like a 7, but now he perceives her as a 10 as a result of the social proof. So that's an example there. And then just reinforcing, I think like the key takeaways, as we're continuing to go through this are, decisions are not as conscious as we think. There's a lot of hidden emotions or shortcuts that we take that we're not aware of. So just understanding that and then making sure to be aware of that and architect our decisions around that is really important. And understanding that if once you can kind of like dig into this a little bit more and know how to frame your decisions, that you can also use that information to build good habits, make good choices, and then persuade others to do what you want them to do, which is always nice. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so it looks like we have another workbook question that you guys can get into, and I'll read this off to you as well. So how do you see nudges show up in your daily life? Think about websites, social media, stores, teachers, which was a great example, or maybe your parents have figured out how to nudge you to do what they want you to do. And so we'll give you that, and you guys could go in your workbooks and think about that, and then we'll ask you a couple follow-up questions. Okay, so with that, we'll start going into maybe some of the answers you gave to the questions, and then I'd also love to hear what one of the most powerful nudges was for you and why you feel like that worked. So, how about Wendy?
I was a bit confused on the question, so I didn't really put much.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's try somebody else, and then if that doesn't, if everybody felt like they were confused about the question, then we can kind of go back. Wendy, do you want to pick someone else?
Genesis?
Me or Genesis Rojas?
Rojas.
An example of a nudge that I would see in my daily life would like be on social media like Instagram or TikTok where they show you a video that they think you might like and that makes me kind of like scroll more and I wasn't even planning to, but the videos that show up that I'm interested in that the algorithm shows me, I'm more tempted to keep scrolling.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's a great one. And then I'm sucked in for like 3 hours when I only thought I was going to be on there for 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a really good one. Thank you for sharing. So now we're on the slide. I think we're starting to run out of time. So let's move to this design nudges for your life. So there's a workbook question in here that we'll go to. Essentially, what we're trying to figure out is how would you redesign your life so that you're using these nudges in a better way to better your habits or your decisions. So think about like, framing. So making sure that the good choice is right in front of you or making things easy so that you want to hurry up and do the best option. Anchoring is another one that we talked about, the decoy approach. So pick from some of those and then come up with an idea on how you can use these to make better decisions. Did we play music for that one?
There's no music for this slide, Sarah.
Okay, but they are supposed to go in their workbooks and have a spot for this, right?
That is correct. We will give them another 90 seconds after the next week's coverage.
Okay.
Sarah, you got to hum a tune if there's no music.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. I sometimes I whistle the Jeopardy tune if we don't have any music, but
I
they
think
could
you
work
should
in
sing it.
silence also.
You should sing a couple bars, Jay.
By the way, class, first of all, thank you, Sarah. I know we are kind of getting down to the end. Sometimes we do a breakout rooms or whatever, where we all kind of get in smaller groups and talk about it. I don't think we'll quite have time to do that today, because as always, we want to give you a little time to complete the survey, which is at the end of your workbook, coming up in a minute here. Talk a little bit about the next class and a few announcements, probably from YC staff today. Um, so actually, Sarah, I'll give you a minute if you want to maybe ask a couple folks what they answered on this. We can
Yeah,
talk a little bit about
yeah,
the next class, and then we can have YC staff do some of the announcements there.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we'd love to hear a couple answers on how you will apply the decision architecture. So with that, maybe Ashley, do you want to answer? Or Ashley, do you want to call in somebody else?
Are you calling on Ashley Menchu? I think she's typing something. Maybe she's having an issue with her
Oh, okay. Okay.
computer or something.
How about Kimberly? Camilla? Do you want to answer?
Do I say all of the steps?
No, not all the steps. You could just give us an example of like a nudge that you can use to apply to your life.
Oh, so something I wanted to change was reducing my screen time because it's really it's like really bad. And I wanted to like design my nudges and like such as like putting my phone like in a far place away, especially like away from my bed, because that's when I start doom scrolling. And I just want to like, and when I get in school, I want to turn it off because it's really an issue at school.
And so how are you going to decision architect so that you meet that goal?
What do you mean?
So, for example, like one way that I've cut down on screen time is I use this setting on my phone. I think it's like actually for kids, but my phone automatically shuts off after I have like an hour of screen time, let's say, on my phone. And so then it's a big hassle to go through and turn it off. So it's like easier to not do the screen time and go to 2 hours than it is to continue with the screen time. So that would be an example of a nudge. Like you make it easier to just get off your phone and harder to keep on the screen time.
Yeah, I think I would like use something similar like apps or settings, but I think if I like tell my brother to hide my phone, then it's more likely it would work.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
And
Okay, let's.
actually,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna hop in because I wasn't sure. We got a few minutes, and I think we're gonna give the students a little bit of time for the survey, which I think maybe on the next one, and then have the YC staff give just a few announcements at the very end here. Sarah, actually, do you want to? I'm sorry, do this last part, and then we'll give them some time for the survey.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna call out the grit and resilience workshop in the next one. And so just a couple of comments on the grit and resilience piece is that I've read several books on the topic, and it's one of the top three predictors of success and wealth. So it's really cool that this is included by YC in here. It looks like it's going to talk about like consistent effort, discipline, making sure that you have growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset, focusing on goals and challenges. And then, really at the end of the day, it's about failing forward, so understanding it's not a perfection game. And how do you keep at it, even if you didn't, even if you didn't get it exactly right, or even if you wanted to give up, or even if you did give up, and how do you restart and keep on. And so there's going to be techniques that are covered in there. Okay. I think that's it, right? And then just talking for handing it off to the YC team about announcements. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone can go ahead and take a minute to finish up your workbooks. The YC staff can let us know how many people have completed the workbooks already. Hopefully, you all have had a chance to kind of get through them. Yeah, and then the staff can give a few announcements at the end here in the last minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna start the timer now. Thank you. All right. So moving on to our announcements, I just wanted to remind everyone that we have an upcoming Ignite speaker series that is going to be on March 2nd. So please be sure to sign up on or before February 27th so that you can register your slot for that speaker series. And we also have another upcoming field trip, and that is going to be on March 15th. So it's about a World Cup symposium. So you can get a behind the scene look at how the 2026 FIFA World Cup impacts Los Angeles. And the deadline for that is going to be on March 6th. So joining both speaker series and field trip will earn you additional points. And for our 12 graders, we have a Rotary Club of Los Angeles Scholarship Open. The deadline for that is going to be on March 2nd. So be sure to sign up before it closes. And I just wanted to remind you all to please submit your workbook on time because please remember that if you won't submit your workbook, you will not earn additional points for the week. And if you have any questions or anything that you would want to check, you can go to our student guide website. It's available 24/7 for you guys. And if you have further questions, feel free to drop those in our student help form. And we address concerns every Monday to Friday only. And I wanted to thank Sarah for a great discussion today, and as well as Jay for the support. And thank you everyone for joining our session. We'll see you on the next one. Thank
Yes,
you. Have a great
thanks, you
evening,
guys.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, YC staff. Sorry, we're
Thank
about a minute late.